Hey all you Boise State fans, this is Jack Fry from the Deep Fried Sports Podcast, and this weekend I'm going to see the Boise State game. They're playing Air Force Academy. Number 20, Boise State are 8-point favorites. The game is Friday night, September 20th. Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Yes, of course, it's mountain time. We live in the mountains. It'll be at Bronco Stadium, Albertson Stadium, on ESPN2. Look, folks, you gotta know your enemy. Off they come to the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet Boise State's Thunder as Aurora and the Falcons of the Air Force Academy, 2-0, come into town to battle the Broncos on Friday night. Coming off a huge overtime victory against the University of Colorado last week, the Falcons are hungry for more. Starting quarterback Donald Hammond III has high expectations for this year's squad, saying, quote, "We believe no one in this nation can stop us except for ourselves." Falcons running back Caden Remsburg added, "We have so much talent. People, I think, discredit us because we're an academy. But we have guys that can handle the ball. We're going to show the Mountain West this year." End quote. There's no doubt that the Airmen are excited for this season, as they should be. The Falcons bring back 2 seasoned quarterbacks, plus 5 of the last year's top 6 running backs and 6 linemen with starting experience. Air Force brings back 5 of last year's top havoc creators, tackles for loss, passes defended, and forced fumble guys. Despite being the nation's aerial warfare service branch, the Falcons ironically will attack their opponents on the ground via the triple option. The triple option is a run-dominant style offense that on any given play will have at least 3 options of where the football could go. Quarterback Donald Hammond III will spearhead the offense and act similar to a point guard in basketball. Hammond's key objective is to read the defense and determine if he should hand the ball to the fullback on the dive, pitch the ball outside, or keep it himself. Air Force is second in the nation with its rushing attack, which is averaging 356 yards per game. Air Force is coached by Troy Calhoun, who is in his 12th season as head coach of the Falcons and has an overall record of 89-67. Calhoun is the first coach in history of Air Force football to lead his team to a ball game in 6 consecutive seasons. Boise State and Air Force have met 7 other times in school history. The Broncos have a 4-3 advantage in the series and have won the last 2 meetings. So what happened last year? Boise State traveled to Colorado Springs, Colorado, to hopefully avenge the 27-20 loss the last time they were in town. In fact, the Broncos had never won at the Academy in school history. Boise State wasted no time throwing the first punch as Brett Rippon connected with John Hightower for a 44-yard touchdown pass on their first drive of the game. Air Force would answer right back with a touchdown of their own on a 17-yard run by Cole Fagan. Down 28-21 with 1:06 left in the half, Boise State started the drive at their own 21-yard line. Rippon would lead the Broncos down the field to the Falcons' 35-yard line with just 12 seconds to play. On 4th and 10, Rippon would go back to pass and find streaking C.T. Thomas down the sideline for a 35-yard touchdown and would tie the game on the ensuing extra point. After halftime, the Broncos would take a 31-28 lead after forcing the Falcons to punt on their opening drive of the second half. Boise State would extend their lead to 10 on a 1-yard run by Alexander Madison with just over 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. Air Force would add a field goal at the end of the third to bring the score to 38-31. In the fourth quarter, after seeing their lead dwindle to 41-38, Boise State would put up the final nail in the coffin with a 61-yard bomb to John Hightower for his 3rd touchdown of the evening. Rippon would throw for 399 yards and 5 touchdowns as the Broncos took down the Falcons 48-38. On the Air Force Academy side, what players do we have to watch? 1. Junior Caden Remsburg. He's a running back. He's number 24. Caden, as a junior English major from Newton, Kansas, is the Falcons' biggest offensive producer in 2019. Through 2 games, Remsburg has 208 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns. Last week against Colorado, Remsburg rushed for a career best 146 yards on 23 carries. He also possesses big playability, with 5 of his rushing attempts going for over 10 yards, including a 25-yard touchdown on the first play of overtime. Remsburg was named CollegeSportsMadness.com Offensive Player of the Week for the Mountain West. Junior Donald Hammond III, quarterback. He's number 5. Donald D.J. Hammond III is a junior aeronautical engineering major from Hampton, Georgia, where he was first-team All-State player in both football and baseball. Last season as a sophomore, Hammond split time with Isaiah Sanders, but this year has taken that next step and has become a full-time starter for the Falcons. Boise State defensive coordinator Jess Schmedling had high praise for the quarterback, saying he's a smooth operator out there. He gets back there and it looks like he's relaxed, and as you get a little pressure on him, he takes off. He's a very good athlete. We got our hands full. Hammond is a kingpin in this offense. The Broncos will need to mix up their defensive looks to keep Hammond from carving up Boise State defenses. Senior Jeremy Fedjadalem. He's a safety and he's number 2. Fedjadalem, a management major from Lamont, Illinois, led his team in tackles 104 and interceptions 3 in 2018 and currently leads the team in tackles this season with 16. Fedjadalem also leads the Falcons in sacks with 1.5. Last week against Colorado, Fedjadalem had a career-high 14 tackles, which tell you he was always around the football and isn't afraid of some contact. Boise State will need to make sure they have tabs on number 2 all game long. For Boise State, players to watch are senior John Hightower, wide receiver, and he's number 16. John is a human highlight reel. With combinations of speed and athleticism, Hightower can either out-jump you for the ball or just simply outrun the defender. He's 6'2", and he came to Boise State as a community college transfer and immediately made an impact for the Broncos last season as the team's biggest deep threat. Last season, against this very Air Force team, Hightower set career highs in catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns. He had 8 catches for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 of his touchdowns receptions were over 40 yards each. This season, Hightower is off to a solid start with 8 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Also, check out senior Sonatane Louis. He's the no tackle, number 98. He won't blow you away with his stat line, but he plays a major role for the Broncos on the defensive line. Coming into this week, Louis will need to have a big game if the Broncos want to beat Air Force. Louis' job this week is a nose tackle, and it takes away the fullback dive and be able to anchor the defense to allow other defenders to rally to the football. Co-defensive coordinator Spencer Danielson said Louis can go to finesse or aggressiveness. He's powerful enough where we can set an edge and take on a double team, but also can go right around or through somebody. Redshirt sophomore Zeke Noah is a middle linebacker. He's number 7. After redshirting in 2017, Noah made his Bronco debut last season. Noah played in 10 games and started 3 a season ago at the weak side linebacker position. With the departure of Tyson Maeva, Noah moved to the middle linebacker this season, and Coach Schmedling had high praise for Noah, saying he's a smart, natural football player. Zeke has a knack for finding the football wherever it is. There's a lot to middle linebacker, and he's doing a great job. If he can take the next couple of steps and keep going in his progression, look out. He's more than talented to do good things. Zeke leads the team in both tackles, 18, and solo tackles, 12. Focus position group, the defensive line. This week's game has been known to be a meat grinder type of game. Air Force wants to run the ball and wear you down both physically and mentally. Their offense is quick off the ball and attacks with cut blocks. The Broncos will have a tough test this week, and the success of the team will start with the defensive line. When facing the triple option, the defensive line has 2 main responsibilities: stuff the middle and set the edge. Guys like David Moa and Sonatane Louis in the interior of the defensive line need to win the line of scrimmage and stop the dive from the fullback. Guys like Chase Atada and Curtis Weaver on the outside need to set the edge and not let the ball get to the edge. It won't be a glamour week for the defensive line. There won't be a ton of sacks to get big hits, but if they can just hold fast to do your job, the Broncos will be fine. It all starts with the defensive line. Revs route to a Bronco win. Extend drives. Boise State has been doing a great job at converting third downs this season. The Broncos are top 10 in the country, converting 55% of their third down attempts. What's even more amazing is how well Hank Bachmeier's performed on that money down. On third down, Bachmeier is 21 for 29 with 356 yards and 3 touchdowns, and has converted 17 first downs. Bachmeier has also rushed 6 times for 3 first downs. The opposing defenses have only forced 3 3-and-outs this season. Boise State is also scoring about 47% of the possessions. This week, each Bronco possession will be a precious one, and it will be important for the offense to stay on the field and score points. Number 2, force negative yardage plays. Air Force will want to run the ball on first down, second down, and third down. When you play a team that runs a football upwards of 60 times a game, keeping them from gaining positive yards is extremely important. That has been the tall order for opposing defenses this year, as the Falcons, outside of penalties, have only committed 5 negative yardage plays. Even Air Force penalties have been few and far between. However, Boise State's defense ranks 9th in the nation in tackles for loss, and that has averaged over 9 tackles for loss in each of the last 3 games. Last season, against the Falcons, the Broncos had 6 tackles for loss. Look for the Broncos to attack the ball and force the Falcons to convert third and long situations. Number 3, stop the pass, I think. In the past 2 seasons, the Broncos have done a pretty good job at stopping the rushing attack of the Falcons. Boise State held Air Force to 201 rushing yards last season and 181 yards in 2017. Both those numbers are well below the Falcons' season average for each of those years. However, it's usually the pass that kills the Broncos. Last season, the Falcons scored 38 points, and 21 of those points came on passing plays. The Broncos secondary can't get lulled to sleep and let streaking Air Force receivers run by them this week if they want to beat the Falcons. Editorial note: do your job is probably echoing in each of the Boise State's defensive minds this week as they play Air Force. This week, the Broncos will have to be mentally strong on defense if they want to beat the Falcons. It will take each player just doing their 1 in 11 each to succeed. On offense, the Broncos need to get the lead and stay ahead. The Falcons aren't a team that's built on playing from behind. So if the defense can get a quick stop and let the offense score first, it may pay dividends for the home team. This is a big game in terms of position in the West Division standings, because the winner of this game is in the driver's seat for first place. The Broncos will be wearing their new black uniforms at the Falcons' funeral this week. Boise State wins by 10, 31-21. Thanks, Rev. I love your rundown. Pretty good stuff. Hope you guys enjoys my Boise State breakdown by Rev, and we'll see you next week. I will be at the Boise State game on Friday night with my family. I am super, super excited. Thanks, folks. Have a good one.